Alright, so as we saw earlier, we actually passed the request object to the route handler as the first parameter of our callback. Alright, so as we learned earlier, the request object is going to provide data about the request coming into the server. Alright, this includes the URL, the headers, the query string, and a lot more stuff that we'll see shortly. Alright, the importance of this request object because is that it allows us to handle the user's request appropriately in our code. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the most commonly used properties and methods available in the request object. Alright, so here we see, of course, us importing Express, us creating an instance of Express, and listing on port 80. Alright, so here's our app.get route, and we're responding to the path that contains the user and some number for the user ID. All right, so we have a URL property, an original URL property on the request. The original URL, of course, contains the original URL string of the request. All right, the protocol property contains the protocol, either HTTP or HTTPS. The IP address of the request we can access with .ip. All right, .path gives us the path portion of the request URL. .host gives us the host name of the request. All right, method gives us the HTTP method coming in. It's going to be either get or post or put or delete, etc. All right, query is a JSON object containing the query object portion of the string. All right, so here we're using JSON as stringify to convert it to a string to display, but we could access the query object directly. All right, the next one, .fresh, returns true when last modified matches the current. All right, we use this a lot when we're dealing with checking to see if a page is fresh or if it's stale. All right, so stale returns false when last modified matches the current. All right, so if last modified matches the current, stale is going to be false. Fresh would be true if last modified matches the current. So they kind of do the same purpose. All right, just return opposite values. All right, secure tells us if we have a TLS connection or we're using SSL. All right, accept charset UTF-8 will return true if the page or the request accepts UTF-8 or whatever charset we pass in there, character set we pass in there. All right, request get connection. All right. That one will give us information about the connection itself. All right, and actually, what is that one? We're going to run that one and see what it gives us back. All right, request.header gives us the header values that come back from the get, and we're just sending this back as the user request. So let's run this and see what that connection gives us back. And we're going to use this query string right here. So I'm just going to copy it out. All right, and we're going to do node express. What was that one? Request. All right. All right. Let's hit our local host here. Alright, so we got user request back. Let's look at the console. Alright, yeah, keep alive. So it just tells us the connection type. Alright, so there's our values. There's our original URL, our protocol HTTP. It's not giving me back my IP address. Well, it is. It's just telling me that it's localhost. Alright, there's our path. Host is deprecated, so now it's host name. So it's actually telling us that we're using the wrong property for host. It should be host name. All right, our method was a get. There's our query object containing name and Brad. So remember this part here that we pass as query parameters. All right, it's not fresh. It's stale. It's not secure. That's false. Accept charset is O. Use instead. Accepts charsets now. All right, and yes, it supports UTF-8. There's our headers. All right. Good stuff. All right, so you will lean on the request object heavily. We'll see some examples of actually using those values shortly. All right, and we will come back and we will take a look at the response object. All right, take care.